and that was all filmed from the camera just sitting in one spot, not even moving. It's almost like having a little cameraman, or kind of like the Pocket 3 with the gimbal that follows you. It's really cool. Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to yet another video. I've reviewed quite a few DJI products over the past few weeks, but this right here is my quick review, not going into any crazy tech specs or anything like that, just showing you some footage from it and telling you what I think of it. This right here is the DJI Osmo 360. Now obviously this is a 360 degree camera, and what that means is that it has basically two sensors or two lenses, almost like having two cameras, one on the front and one on the back. They're very wide angle lenses, so ultra wide angle, and what that means is one basically lens would capture one side and one lens captures the other side, and it gets stitched together to give you this really cool 360 degree view. So what's really cool about this camera is it's recording 360 degrees all the way around all the time. So whether I'm just walking like this, I can pan the camera around and show you something right in front of me. So let's move over to here and I can show you these trees without even moving the camera at all physically. So obviously I'm moving around, but I don't have to physically point the camera anywhere, which is kind of cool. So what I wanted to buy this for was hopefully to bring on my photography adventure vlogs and be able to kind of walk around and show people things. Now it does take a bit of getting used to. Normally you're used to turning your camera around and physically showing someone something, whereas this camera you don't really have to, as long as the camera's in the vicinity of that thing you want to show and it's within that 360 environment, you can show it later on, which is really cool. I'm out of breath because I've taken a while to walk here. But yeah, I figured I'd be able to just take this camera on my adventures and just walk, film myself. But while it's filming me, it's also filming everything around me in my environment. So like I said, I'd be able to show you something without even turning the camera and get some really cool effects, which 360 cameras are really good for. Now, obviously, especially for me, audio is very important. So what we're going to do, I'm wearing the DJI Mic 2 right now. That's what you're hearing. But I'll flick over to the internal microphone on the Osmo 360 just so you can hear what that sounds like. It is a little bit windy, so I think you are going to hear a little bit of wind noise, but I'll flick over to that microphone, the internal microphone in the Osmo 360 right now. So what you're hearing right now is the microphone, internal microphone in the Osmo 360. I actually think it sounds really good. It's very similar to the Action series of cameras, which I always say this, I think they have the best internal microphones of any camera I've ever heard for what they are. And this sounds very close. I still think the Action series of cameras might have slightly better audio, but it does sound pretty good. Anyway, we'll switch back to the Mic 2 now. Right before we switch back to the Mic 2 audio, this is what it usually sounds like when there isn't too much wind. I thought it sounded pretty good, but in that certain clip, I found that, the wind must have been coming through on the perfect angle, and the audio didn't sound good at all. But this is what it normally sounds like. I'm probably about 30 to 40 centimeters from the camera, and I think it sounds pretty decent. So in terms of the settings here, I'm just using D-Log M 10-bit, and I'll put my settings up on the screen. Nothing fancy, nothing crazy at all. And then all I'm doing is putting the Rec 709 LUT from DJI on top of this footage. I might play with shadows, highlights, and adjust a few little things like that, but for the most part, that is what you're seeing. Now, one thing to be aware of when you are using a 360 camera is that, like I said, it is filming in all directions at all the time. You can do single lens mode on this camera, which means it will just film from the front or the rear. But it does get degraded quality, and there's no point in doing that on a 360 camera. You may as well just buy the Action camera if you do want to do that. One thing you have to keep in mind if you do want a 360 camera like this is that there is an extra step when it comes to editing. So you do have to put your footage into the DJI software, DJI Studio, and you actually do have to keyframe and kind of move the camera around to what you want to show in your footage. So you can do intelligent tracking, which is good. So you can just press a person's face or circle something, circle an object, whether it's a car, doesn't matter what it is, and the software can track it and keep that in frame at all times. It does a really good job of that. Now, like I said, it does add an extra step when you're editing. So you do have to keyframe that stuff. If I want to show you something behind me right now, I do have to actually keyframe that in the software. It is pretty easy, but it can get really time consuming if you do have a lot of clips, or really long clips where I'm talking like this. The intelligent tracking does work fairly well, but it can be slow to do a clip that's maybe a few minutes long or something like that. Now, one other thing that's a little bit annoying in terms of the editing stuff is that there is a plugin for Adobe Premiere, so you can do it all in the one software. Unfortunately though, it's not for PC or not for Windows, it's only for Mac as far as I can tell at the moment. There's a few people on the forums that are a bit upset about that, including myself, because it would be nice to just use the 360 footage in one piece of software. The problem at the moment is having to edit it in DJI Studio, then you have to export it as a 4K or whatever resolution you like. I did say that this camera is 8K, but it's only 8K because the front and rear camera of 4K each, and when you add those together to give you a 360 view, it becomes 4K. But when you actually output your footage or export your footage, it will be in 4K, not 8K. But yeah, as I was saying, you do have to export your footage out of DJI Studio. When you do that, you then have to import it into your editing software. So there is an extra step, obviously, as I've said. And the issue is, if you're editing a clip, say you've got some 3-minute clip you filmed and you've already keyframed it and you're happy with how it looks, and then you export it, then you get into Premiere, you edit it, and you may want to change something in that footage, like where the camera was pointing or something like that, then you will have to go back to DJI Studio, make those changes, export it again, and things like that. So it would be cool if you could kind of do it all in the one software. So I am hanging out really badly for the plugin to be available for Adobe Premiere on PC or Windows. Now, in terms of the video quality, I think it's actually really good. I watched a few clips when this first came out of other reviewers, and I don't know why, I just wasn't overly impressed with the footage. I don't know if they've done a lot of firmware updates since then. I haven't really kept in touch with what's been happening with the 360 series of cameras. I wasn't really interested in 360 cameras, to be honest, up until now. And yeah, but getting this and looking at the footage, it's actually very nice. As long as you don't zoom in too much when you are doing the panning and keyframing and all that type of thing in the software, it looks really nice. Even low light footage is fairly decent. I'll just come down here. I wouldn't really call it low light, it's during the day, but we'll go onto some canopy of trees here. Well, probably hitting the microphone. So I am in shade. I mean, I will put some low light footage up over the top of this as well while I'm talking. And throughout this review, I'll obviously put a bunch of footage up that I've taken with this camera too. So we'll come up out of here. So yeah, one thing that I love about this is the creative shots that you can get are really cool. This is just a personal thing. I'm not a huge fan of the shots that 360 cameras give that some people do with the really long selfie sticks and things like that. I don't like those shots. That's just, again, personal preference. But you can get some really cool creative shots with this, especially if you do like a time lapse where the camera's kind of, obviously the camera, you just sit the camera down and press record. You don't even have to move the camera. But in the footage later, you can kind of spin that time lapse around, so everything's moving fast, almost like a hyperlapse. Everything's moving fast and the camera's spinning around kind of thing. So I think that's really cool. And the opportunity for getting really cool shots is endless with this camera. You can think of some really cool stuff. You can mount it like an action camera. Yeah, it's pretty tough compared to the Pocket 3 and things like that. This does seem like a pretty tough camera. The only drawback actually is the lenses aren't easily replaceable, so if you do scratch or damage the lenses, you will have to probably send it off for repair, because I don't know how easy they are to change, and I don't know how easy they are to get either. Now on this camera, there's 2 buttons on the front. One of them is a, whoa, my tripod started falling. But again, what's cool about the 360 camera is I could have panned that footage down and kind of saved it. But one thing to mention, oh, this is going to keep falling, isn't it? So on the front of the Osmo 360, you have a screen and you have 2 buttons. The circle button there is like the button to start recording or stop recording. And then there's a button with a square on it. The button with a square on it, if you press it once, will flip from the front camera to the rear camera. And if you press it twice, it'll kind of reset the view. Now, you're not going to see what I'm talking about, because if you do flick to the front camera, it doesn't affect the footage that gets recorded. It only affects basically what I'm seeing on the screen, or basically what I'm seeing in the preview of the screen here. So even if I press this button right now, it's going to flip to the front camera. You won't see that in the footage unless I physically keyframe you to see the front camera or turn the footage around. So it's only just for me to preview and see what the camera's seeing. Now, another thing you can do is get your finger, put it on the screen and kind of pan around that 360 environment. Again, if I do that now, which I will do right now on the screen, you will not see this happening unless I want you to. And I'll just double tap that square again to get me in the middle. Again, you won't see that. The camera's just recording the same 360 footage the whole time. It's only so you can see what you're framing up and what the camera's actually doing. When it comes to editing, like I said, I'm gonna put an overlay of the software being used. That's where you keyframe, you move the camera and you tell it. So let's just say you might have a keyframe here that the camera's pointing to the left, and a keyframe here where the camera's pointing to the right. In between those 2 keyframes, the camera will just start doing the pan, and obviously you can control the speed of that motion, the keyframing, and there's also a whole lot of attributes you can change with that keyframe as well, whether it starts fast and goes slow, then ends fast, like transition kind of effects like that. So very cool. Now, when I'm filming this footage, I'm not using the invisible selfie stick you can buy. There is a selfie stick you can buy where the camera kind of deletes it out of the footage. I'm not using one of those. I'm just using a little tripod that I have. So if I pan down the footage enough, you will see the edge of the tripod. And if my hand's here, you'll even see that too. I'm not seeing that in the screen because I haven't panned down, but you'll be able to see it in the software. So it's just kind of crazy how it's just filming all the way around, and then later on I can just tell the camera where to point for how long and do all these crazy effects. It's really cool. I guess the question now is, the battery life and stuff's good as well, don't get me wrong. It's pretty much similar to the action cameras. I'm not exactly sure in terms of hours how good the battery life is, because I usually just record for a day or so, then I chuck it on the charger, so I'm not too sure exactly how long you get in recording time. So like I was saying before, you could literally mount this on the front of a car, and you could get a view of the car going forward, a view of the windscreen, a view of the sides of the sky, whatever you want, and you can continually move that footage around as much as you like. So instead of just mounting, say, an action camera facing forward, then having to stop and turn the camera backwards and do that to get all your different shots, you just mount this camera once, you need only shoot it once, and then you can just come back and get one clip where the keyframe is, or the footage is facing forwards and the footage facing backwards, sideways, whatever you want. You can pan across that footage. It's really cool just to get a whole bunch of shots in one go, rather than having to set up multiple cameras or do the same shot multiple times with the same camera. So I guess the question now is, am I going to use this for my adventure vlogs like I first thought? And the truth is, probably not. The reason being is that extra layer of having to edit and keyframe and all that stuff. Although it is easy to do, the software is very intuitive, it's very easy to use. It does add quite a lot of time, especially if you've got like really long clips like me talking, for example, where I'm showing things, then it's back to me, showing things is back to me. It can be difficult to go from the intelligent tracking modes where it's tracking my face and then stop that and then pan around to something else. It's not difficult. It just adds an extra layer of difficulty, basically, is what I'm saying. So there's that. The other thing is that I don't really like the view of 360 footage. I don't like the field of view. Even though you can change it in the software, it just looks to me like there's still a lot of lens distortion and things like that happening. There are ways to avoid that by zooming in, but the more you zoom in with this camera, in the footage, the more you zoom in, the lower the quality is and things like that. And another thing I should mention about this camera is it does suffer with quite a bit of lens flare, just because the lenses or the glass is so bulbous and so wide. You do get some lens flaring. Not sure if you'll be able to see it here. Don't know where the sun is, but yeah, maybe you're getting some now. The sun's up there. Let me just turn this way. Yeah, you do get a fair bit of glare. It's pretty common with action cameras and things, but I find this suffers with it a little bit more, just because those lenses are so wide and because the glass on top of them is really, really bulbous. Another thing that I found is sometimes when it's transitioning, I believe it's when it's transitioning from the front lens to the rear lens, and you get that kind of half hemisphere section, you do sometimes get some weird shimmering and weird effects. I don't know if it's going to happen in this video. It just happens sometimes when you're transitioning from, like I said, the front lens to the rear lens and things like that. Yeah, I don't know, I'm not the biggest fan of watching 360 footage, so I was hoping that this would be more like normal looking footage, but I could also get some 360 views, if that makes sense. But it is very wide, it does have some distortion, as I said, so yeah, they're not the biggest problems. The biggest problem for me is that extra step in editing, and although I don't mind editing, I actually enjoy it sometimes. It's just, I don't really have a lot of time as it is these days, and having to have an extra layer of doing something before I even bring my footage into Premiere, and then having to go back to that software to kind of make those changes again, or make some changes if I wasn't happy with something, it definitely adds a lot more time to the editing process. So what I definitely will use this camera for is getting some really cool creative shots. Like I might, let's say I've set up somewhere taking some photos, I could just sit this camera there, press record, and either do a time lapse or just have a recording of me walking around, whatever it may be. On my adventure videos, I could mount it on my van or my car and just get a whole bunch of different angles all in one go. So this will definitely not replace my kind of main vlogging camera, which is the Action 5. I don't think it will, but I've had it for a couple of weeks now, and I've tried to kind of use it as if I was doing my adventure vlogs, and I haven't enjoyed the process as much. Let's put it that way. It's much more enjoyable in the Action 5, where I just shoot what I want. Like I said before as well, it is difficult not to show people things with the camera. So if I'm trying to show you something, it's just second nature for me to move the camera down to that, or turn the camera around and things like that, where you don't really need to do that with this camera. Obviously the height really is all that matters, as in terms of panning around and all that stuff doesn't really matter. You can do that all in the software. And although that made it sound like a pro, which it is, it's very, very cool. It's just hard to break certain habits like that when you're used to using cameras for many, many years. A little bit like that? Yeah. See, I'm an idiot. I turn the camera on, I don't have to.
Yeah.
That's what the problem with this camera is. It's hard to get the hang of that, man. So yeah, as I was saying, it probably won't replace my main camera for vlogging and things like that, but it will definitely help add to those videos by having some cool footage from time to time when I want to use it. I find that a lot of people who get these kind of cameras, they just overuse them, and it gets a little bit annoying to watch their footage when everything's 360 and everything's really kind of zoomed back and far away, and the camera's spinning around and doing all sorts of crazy stuff. Sometimes it's cool, but sometimes it can be a little too much. And again, this is all just my opinion on the camera. it's nothing objective, it's purely my subjective opinion. That may mean nothing to you, but I just want people to be aware of those things, that if you do want to use this a lot, that there is that extra step in editing. And one thing to keep in mind, actually, you can edit your whole video in the DJI Studio. You don't have to bring it into Premiere and stuff like I do, but my workflow involves using Premiere and doing all that type of thing. So if you're new to this kind of thing, you can just use DJI Studio. You can add music, transitions, clips. It's actually pretty cool software, so you don't have to bring it into Premiere. As I said, I do. One other thing I just noticed, or I didn't notice, I've just kind of reminded myself of, when you are looking into the screen like this, it's kind of backwards. Like on the Pocket 3 camera, you can actually set selfie flip. What that does is it mirrors the front screen of what you're seeing, so it seems a little more natural, whereas this one, when I turn it one way, it's just unnatural. It goes the other way, but that's just because the footage is filming 360, so there is no selfie flip on this camera. I don't know if that will make sense to any of you, but basically if I'm here and I'm trying to show you what's over here, oh, I turned the right way that time. Most of the time I'll turn the wrong way. So yeah, it's just getting used to that kind of stuff. It is kind of weird, but you'll get used to it eventually. So yeah, that about sums up my video. I actually really love this. I didn't think I'd like this as much as I do. I love the quality. I love the onboard mic quality. I love the fact you can pair DJI mics to this effortlessly. As I said, I love the colors. I love all that stuff. Just the only things I don't like is the extra step in editing, which I already knew about. And the whole 360 footage, just the field of view and all that type of stuff is cool for what it is, but I don't think it's going to suit me for, like I said, my everyday kind of adventure vlogs and shooting on this all the time. I will definitely use it for creative scenarios where I think it's going to be cool, but yeah, that's about it, I think. Hope you enjoyed, and thank you very much for watching. I'll see you soon.